Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Leandro Trossard set to miss Sporting Lisbon clash. Arsenal star Leandro Trossard is expected to miss the game against Sporting tomorrow due to an injury. The Belgian joined the Gunners from Brighton and Hove Albion in January for £27 million. He has been an excellent addition to this Arsenal side, having already played in two different positions. Mikel Arteta is now set to be without him for the game in Portugal on Thursday. The Evening Standard claims that Trossard has picked up a groin injury. The Belgian was forced to hobble off the pitch against Bournemouth on Saturday, and Arteta described the issue as worrying in his press conference after the game. Thankfully for Arsenal fans, the report claims Trossard's injury isn't a serious one, but he is still expected to miss the game against Sporting tomorrow and perhaps even the derby against Fulham this weekend. He is, however, expected to be back in action in a fortnight before this month's international break. Arsenal reportedly believe withdrawing him quickly against Bournemouth prevented significant damage to his groin. Arteta has a tricky situation up front now, with Trossard set to miss out. Gabriel Jesus is close to a return from injury, but he isn't there just yet, while Edin Ketia is also injured at the moment, and the report claims he too will miss the game against Sporting tomorrow. That leaves Arsenal without a recognized striker in their side. Gabriel Martinelli is now likely to lead the line for the Gunners, unless Arteta surprises everyone and goes with Emile Smith-Rowe up top. If Trossard was available, there would be no problems for Arsenal tomorrow, but Arteta will stick back his side to get the job done in Portugal. BBC Pundit thinks Arsenal are about to get another real boost. Speaking on the BBC Radio 5 Live Football Daily podcast, Chris Sutton has been discussing Gabriel Jesus and his impending return for Arsenal. Jesus has been out of action for 3 months now after picking up an injury at the World Cup, but he is recently been pictured in training, suggesting that he will be back in action sooner rather than later. Sutton believes that Jesus' return will give Arsenal a real lift as we enter the business end of the season, and he claims that his comeback will be like a new signing coming into the squad. Sutton gave his view on Jesus coming back for Arsenal. He said, "They have Gabriel Jesus in training. He is going to be massive for them. Jesus has been a massive loss for them. Getting him back would be absolutely enormous. It would give the team a real boost and a real lift like a new signing coming in." Jesus' return to action could genuinely be the difference between winning the league and finishing second for Arsenal. When the Brazilian is on form, he is genuinely one of the very best players in the Premier League, and Arsenal could look like a different team when he is leading the line. It's not as tough. Arsenal have struggled massively without him in the side, but his presence does raise the levels at the Emirates, and he would undoubtedly make Arsenal a better team upon his return. Arsenal have looked a bit flat as of late, relying on late winners against the likes of Aston Villa and Bournemouth, but Jesus' return should see the Gunners return to their dominant ways as we saw earlier this season. Yaya Toure says he'd go to the Emirates every week just to watch Thomas Partey. Three-time Premier League winner Yaya Toure has raved about Arsenal midfielder Thomas Partey. The Ivorian is among the best midfielder we have seen in the Premier League. He was unstoppable on his day, and he is one of the biggest reasons why Manchester City were so successful during his time at the club. Toure is now a coach at Tottenham, but he still appreciates brilliance when he sees it, even if it's from a player at Spurs' fierce rivals Arsenal. Arsenal have been incredible in the Premier League this season. The Gunners are on top of the table, 5 points clear of Manchester City. Partey's brilliance in the middle of the park has been one of the biggest reasons why they are where they are, and they could go on and win it this term. Toure knows a thing or two about being a great midfielder. He has watched Partey on numerous occasions this season, and the Tottenham youth coach has branded the Ghanaian as an unbelievable player. He told TalkSport, Yeah, he's been brilliant. It's really nice to see. I think now every weekend when Arsenal have to play, I have to be honest, I would go just to watch him. He is just unbelievable. Partey really has been unbelievable for Arsenal this season. The Ghanaian is arguably the best defensive midfielder in the Premier League. He is one of Arsenal's most important players, and if they go on to win the title, he will be the biggest reason why. The worry for Gunners fans, however, is Partey's injury record. The 29-year-old has had his fair share of struggles with muscular issues. He has missed 6 games this season. As a result, Arsenal supporters will be praying Partey will remain fit until the end of the campaign. If he does, Mikel Arteta will back his side to go all the way in the title race. Bukayo Saka says he was stunned by a player Arsenal let go 2 years ago. Arsenal star Bukayo Saka has named Mesut Ozil as the one who impressed him the most when he was called up to senior training for the first time. The young Englishman has become one of the best players in the Premier League now, but until New Year's Day in 2019, he hadn't even made his league debut yet. That is a remarkable rise in such a short space of time, and rubbing shoulders with world-class players definitely must have played a part in helping him become the player he is today. Arsenal under Mikel Arteta are the best team in the Premier League at the moment. The Spaniard has achieved this without any real superstars at the club. He has transformed the Gunners with young players, and they are now in with a huge chance of winning the Premier League this season. This is very different to when Arsenal actually had superstars in their side, the likes of Mesut Ozil, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and Alexandre Lacazette. Those players didn't push the Gunners to a league title, but it looks like they have inspired the youngsters in one way or another. Ozil definitely caught Saka's eye. The Arsenal number 7 was asked who impressed him the most when he first trained with the first team. He quickly named the German World Cup winner. Saka told BBC's Football Focus, as quoted by HITC, "I think I would probably say Mesut Ozil. He plays in his own world. Some of the things he does, and you look at him, just wow." Ozil is one of those players who just never got the credit he deserved. The German was constantly criticized for his body language on the pitch, and the way things ended for him at Arsenal 2 years ago made him much less of a fan favorite at the Emirates than he previously was. However, he was one of the best playmakers of this generation. Ozil's influence has definitely helped the likes of Saka and Smith Rowe in their path to becoming stars in the Premier League, and the two players could easily surpass what the German did for the club during his time there. That may happen as early as in May if the Gunners win the Premier League title. Arsenal staff thinks Smith Rowe will take Granit Xhaka's place and play in midfield with Martin Odegaard. The Evening Standard reports that Arsenal staff think Emile Smith Rowe could eventually take Granit Xhaka's place and play with Martin Odegaard in midfield. Smith Rowe has endured a torrid season in terms of his fitness after picking up an injury against Manchester United back in September. The 22-year-old has made just 7 Premier League appearances this season. As a result, with all of them coming on as a substitute, the high-end academy product was a key player for Arteta last season and was impressive while playing across Arsenal's front three. But it seems that there is a belief within Arsenal that the youngster will develop into a central midfield player rather than a number 10 or wide forward. Arteta is currently planning for Smith Rowe to play in Arsenal's front three, according to the Evening Standard, but the outlet claims that there is a belief amongst Arsenal coaches that he could end up playing alongside Odegaard in midfield. Smith Rowe has mainly operated as an attacking midfielder or wide forward under Arteta, but he has shown his versatility by playing as a false nine last season. The youngster seems like a good fit to play the Xhaka role, considering that the Swiss star has played in a more advanced position this season. For the time being though, Smith Rowe will be desperate to force his way back into the Arsenal side after a frustrating season so far. The Gunners are set to travel to Portugal for their Europa League clash against the Sporting Lisbon on Thursday, and Smith Rowe will be hoping to start from the off. He made a big impact on the game against Bournemouth on Saturday as he came off the bench and provided an assist. Arteta will be hoping that Smith Rowe can build on this display and become an important player for the remainder of the season. Chelsea have been exploring deal to sign Moses Caicedo. Chelsea have been exploring a deal to sign reported Arsenal target Moses Caicedo over the past week, according to the Daily Mail. Mikel Arteta's men attempted to land Caicedo in January before they snapped up Jorginho from Chelsea. The Gunners even had two bids knocked back from Brighton, with Sky Sports reporting that the second offer was worth around £70 million. The Siglus made it evidently clear that the 21-year-old would not be moving in the middle of the season, and he has since put pen to paper on a new deal. But it seems that Caicedo could still complete a switch away from the Amex Stadium this summer, and Graham Potter's men have already been exploring a deal. The Daily Mail reports that Chelsea have spent the last few days weighing up whether the Ecuadorians' new deal could impact their interest in the Ecuadorian star. The Blues have apparently concluded that Caicedo's new agreement with Brighton will not impact a possible move to Stamford Bridge. There is said to be no release clause in his contract though, which puts Brighton in a stronger position to demand the £80 million they want for him. Of course, Potter worked with Caicedo during his time at Brighton, and it's no surprise that Chelsea are weighing up another move for him after they had a bid knocked back in January. While Arsenal were clearly keen on the midfielder in the last transfer window, it seems that they are now prioritizing a move for Declan Rice ahead of the summer. Caicedo has been incredible for the Siglus, but he could reportedly cost up to around £90 million, and for that price, Rice certainly seems like a safer bet for Arteta. Journalist shares what Arsenal sources are saying about signing Declan Rice now. Arsenal sources are now labeling a deal to sign West Ham United star Declan Rice as very realistic, according to Sky Sports journalist Darmish Sheth. Mikel Arteta has seemingly made Rice his top target ahead of the summer as he looks to bolster his midfield options. Indeed, The Times reported last month that the Gunners are confident of beating Chelsea to the 24-year-old signature, but he could cost them around £80 million. Rice has been exceptional for the Hammers over the past few seasons, and with his contract set to run until 2024, he looks destined to leave East London this summer. And it seems that sources close to Arsenal are growing in confidence that he will end up at the Emirates. Speaking to Give Me Sport, Sheth shared an update on Arsenal's search for a new central midfielder ahead of the summer. He said, "Midfield is an area that Arsenal do want to strengthen. They showed that they wanted to strengthen in that area during January when they went in for Moses Caicedo and went in strongly for him. Of course, they didn't manage to get him, but Declan Rice now appears to be the primary target. The noises we are hearing is that it could be a very realistic one. To do for Arsenal in the summer. Rice has seemed ready for the next step in his career for quite some time now, and Arsenal would be a good fit for the midfielder. Of course, the Gunners did strengthen their midfield options in January by bringing in Jorginho from Chelsea, but there is no doubt that Arteta is still short in the middle of the park, and Rice would be a brilliant long-term successor to Thomas Partey. The Ghanaian has struggled with injuries during his time at the Emirates Stadium too, so it would be a huge coup for Arteta to get someone of Rice's quality to compete with him for a place in the side. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.